What's up, guys? Ace is here with
Brian,
and we are Worth the Download. And this week we're going to be reviewing Bush's new album, Black and White Rainbows. So I was pretty excited for this album, being an old school Bush fan since back in, I don't know, 94 when they released their first album.
I was 3.
You were 3. I was a little bit older. I'm not going to tell you how old. But yeah, so I was definitely excited for this album. I mean, Bush has definitely been still pretty consistent in releasing albums since back in, 90, 93, 94, I think, when they released their first album. I think this is their 7th studio album, if I'm not wrong. But, I always, when I think of Bush, I always still reference back to that 94 album, right, 16 Stone. And for any of my non-British people, stone is actually a measuring thing, so it's 16. Anyways, so...
Not important,
but just a random fact. But I was really excited for this album because when I think of Bush, I think of those old school albums, right? Because that one album in particular had some monster tracks on it, right? Like Glycerine, Machinehead, and I don't know, some other couple of the tracks that are still played on the radio right now, right? I hear them all the time, like here in Toronto on our radio station. So, I was pretty excited for this album. I don't know, how did you feel going into this? I know this was your first album.
It's my first time listening to a band named Bush. Not the first time I saw Bush, but getting to the album in particular, I actually enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was very easygoing, grooving, and all that stuff. I can probably say that I would listen to it again and again. I heard it about maybe 4 times today alone. Just because I enjoy it also. It's a good, I was working and I had it in my earphones and I enjoyed that. And it's something that I would like in the background of I'll say. But the only one issue that I have with it is kind of like one of these.
A little melancholy?
It's a little emotional. It's a little I can probably classify this more like emo music.
I mean, comparative to, let's say, the album that I referenced, right, 16 Stone. I mean, that album was definitely more when they just started, when Bush was coming on the scene. It was during that grunge era, right? So those tracks were way grungier, way harder. Obviously, progressing through the years, their sound has changed a little bit. I mean, the essence of Bush is still there, but this album definitely had a bit more of a melancholy, more mellow, more somber of an album. I think definitely a lot more. And that opening track to the whole album, right, Mad Love, which is their single, by the way, as well. So I don't know. I feel like it could be a reference where he's maybe he's singing a little bit to Gwen. That's just my theory, but I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, man. Gwen went on Blake Shelton, and then maybe that touch a couple of souls inside of his heart. He'd be like, let me make a song called Mad Love.
Maybe.
Right? What I think is maybe he did use that type of because again, this is an emotional album, right? So that's what I think, right? So I think he had to kind of bring back old memories and old emotions to make that track. That's what I think, man. Is it taking a shot at Gwen Stefani, or maybe saying that he still has mad love for her? I don't know. You gotta tell me, right?
We just start the rumors. You guys can finish things.
Exactly.
Right, guys?
Right.
And let us know in the comments if you guys think that's the case. But, I mean, overall, I think this album was pretty much, kind of maybe not exactly what I expected, but it was definitely more than I was hoping for. Because, when a band's been around for so long, you don't know what to expect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I remember hearing a few singles from some of the previous albums that were released, and it wasn't I had the singles are really good. The overall albums I wasn't super crazy about, but this album in particular I actually pretty much thoroughly enjoyed, and even some of the surprises, like that one Spanish chorus in that one track, right?
You didn't fool us.
Nope, you didn't fool us, but it definitely caught me. His accent, maybe it could get you some work, his Spanish accent, sure. But overall, I think the sound of the album was really well produced. I think that the riffs and everything else, that for any Bush fans, you guys will be digging this album. Just be prepared that it's going to be a little bit more of a mellow sound.
Let's talk the musical.
The musicality of it?
The musicality, yeah. The musicality of it. You being a guitarist, of course. What could change and what can't change, or whatever. What was on
What was on point?
On point.
Yeah, on point. I mean, there's you're definitely find a few tracks there where you'll feel that old school Bush sound, where the way heavier distorted guitars, that grungier sound, that grungier feel, which you'll be familiar with. But then there was some of the songs where they had a little bit more of little guitars that they used to kind of either for intros or little other parts. And Bush, at least as far as I remember, they weren't a really big riffy sort of band, and so those little parts kind of threw me off a little bit, and I was just
it's more technical though, right? It's more of a it's more, I would say, musical, because the last old Bush was more grungy, right? So it was more like power, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. They're trying to add a little extra for it, but like literally, like if you when you listen through some of those tracks, like if you took that part out, I'd be fine with that.
Really?
I'd be fine without it.
Okay.
Just because
That's interesting.
But I could again, it could be me referencing back to that older Bush sound, which is what I think of when I think of Bush, right?
Absolutely.
So I mean, wrapping it up though, how would you rate this album then out of 5?
Despite the fact that it was emotional and probably people are gonna die hearing this song or this album in particular, yeah, I would say 4 out of 5. Hairy bushes,
4 out of Harry Bushes,
unshaven, uncut. Like some people like that.
Yeah, I think about in Europe and stuff too, right? Especially.
Yeah, Europe.
And these guys are from the UK, so I guess
it makes sense
it
now.
Makes sense. For myself, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 stone. Going back to that first album, 4 out of 5 stone.
There you go.
All right, guys. So, but let us know what you guys thought. In the comments, let us know if you guys liked this album, loved it. Do you think that Mad Love track is about? Go ahead and let us know. Next week, though, what are we gonna be doing?
Next week, I'm super excited. We are from Toronto. He's at Tohoboco. I'm North York. That's Toronto. I'm excited. We're going to listen to a little bit of Drake.
Drake has announced he's dropping an album on Saturday, this coming Saturday. So we'll be listening to that and we'll be reviewing that. So make sure you guys subscribe so you guys know when we drop that next video with that review. And I guess that's pretty much it for us.
That's pretty much it. Lados. I got mad love. Okay, I'm not doing that. Sorry.